From Phoenix, Arizona, it is the series rubber match between these National League West rivals, the Dodgers and the Diamondbacks, after the Dodgers took the opener 13-7 on Friday. A tough one to swallow last night, 2-1 in extras. Joe Davis with Orel Hershiser. Alanna Rizzo joins us in just a moment. Still a chance to win this series, though, and a guy taking the ball for the Dodgers in his first start of the second half, and Kenta Maeda, whose last start was really impressive.
Really impressive. 13 strikeouts against San Diego, no walks, a career high in innings, also went 7. The Dodgers need that out of their starters to go deep, and Kenta would like to do that in responding to the loss. And if you look at how he has pitched against these Diamondbacks, it's been pretty doggone good. He's only had one rough outing, or would you say one rough inning against them, where he continues to do well throughout this year. But you know, you have to watch out for a slider away to Paul Goldschmidt every once in a while. Back on June 14th, this was a bullet right back at him. Enough gumption to get the ball and get him out at first, but then went down writhing in pain, and hopefully this won't happen today.
Early on this season, anytime we did an injury report, it was bad news. It's starting to be, though, that the injury report includes positive news with guys coming back. Alanna Rizzo's got the latest updates on the injured Dodgers. And we've got first pitch from Arizona coming up. Friday night 13-7 before falling last night in 12-1. The series rubber match between the Dodgers and Diamondbacks on this Sunday afternoon with the roof closed at Chase Field. Now, the Dodgers weren't without traffic on the bases last night. They had 10 hits, several more walks, but they left 15 men on base with a 1 for 15 with runners in scoring position. So this 9 from Dave Roberts will try and cash in on those opportunities today. Chris Taylor's in there at second base. Zach Walters making his first start in a Dodger uniform. So this getaway day lineup gets it going against Robbie Ray, 24 years old, out of Brentwood, Tennessee, making his 19th start this year. The Diamondbacks have lost each of his last 4 outings.
6'2", 195 pounds, but an electric arm. As the second highest average velocity fastball for southpaws in the big leagues at 92 miles an hour, trailing only James Paxton at 94. Robbie Ray will come right after you, and if he gets 2 strikes on you, he has one of the hardest fastballs in baseball. Then he really cuts it loose, doesn't really worry as much about location. You're going to see something in the upper part of the strike zone. He's 2-2 against the Dodgers over his career with a 2.40. He's struggled in some games, but he's pitched very well in others. Our closed captioning today is brought to you by Shumash Casino Resort, where we are all about you.
One more between these teams this afternoon. Then the Dodgers head to D.C. tonight. Have an off day there tomorrow and start a 3-game series with the Nationals on Tuesday night. Top hitter in the National League in the month of July is Howie Kendrick, hitting .426 this month. Went 4 for 5 last night, his 3rd consecutive game with at least 3 hits. With another left-handed starter, Kendrick hits leadoff for the 2nd time in this series. Robbie Ray's first pitch down the middle for a strike, and away we go. Kendrick got off to that slow start. Spring training pretty much eliminated because of the nagging injuries, but he has gotten it going lately and looked a lot more like the guy that he's been over the first decade of his career.
Yes, he has, and has been comfortable in this leadoff hole. Only his 5th time this year doing it, but normally a number 2 hitter, but has hit all over the order. You know, when Howie was going through his struggles after missing spring training and then the real tough April and early May, you could see almost his struggles in his face and in the batter's box, like he was searching and frustrated. But now he's almost like Chase Utley, where everything he does, you don't know what happened. Whether he pops up, line drive, double, standing on second base, it is just so even-keeled, professional, like, this is what I do. This is the way I go about my business. I've been here before. I'll act like I've already been in the end zone.
Ray brings him an 0-2. Kendrick fouls off another. He's never hit below 285 in his career. He's never hit above 297. And really, since the beginning of May, after that first month, his numbers are even better than his career norm. Hard hit at Gene Segura.
The Diamondback defense is brought to you by Clamato. And we're going to focus over there, not on Drury or Bourne, but on Mr. Freeman. Mike Freeman making his major league debut out there in right field. Contract was purchased from AAA Reno prior to today's game with no major league experience. So this young man's got to have some butterflies out there.
As Corey Seager comes up. 2 hits last night, but also had that base running error and extra innings after his leadoff double. Ran into an out between 2nd and 3rd. Ground ball to Nick Ahmed and a couple of ground outs to start things for Robbie Ray. And Seager, as we anticipated, was hard on himself about it. That is a very rare thing to see, a mental lapse from him.
We passed him down in the tunnel as you walk from the locker rooms through the service tunnel of the stadium down in the bowels, and you, as he's going towards the bus, he even was responsible for his base running blunder in the tunnel as he passes you and looks you in the eye to say hi. He kind of hung his head a little bit, and of course all of us were giving him the grace of saying, look, everybody has a brain cramp every once in a while, and boy, I think it's almost the first mistake we've seen him make on the base paths all year.
2 up and 2 down for Ray, and here's Justin Turner. Turner started this series with a home run on Friday night into the camera well above the center field wall. And another hit last night to knock in the Dodgers' only run. That came in the 3rd. The Diamondbacks tied it in the 9th. Down to their final strike against Kenley Jansen. Jake Lamb at an opposite field game-tying double. And then it was Lamb that scored the winning run in the 12th after starting that 12th inning with a triple. Dodgers were a strike away from their first 1-0 win this season that wasn't a complete game shutout from Clayton Kershaw. 3 ground balls in this first inning, and we go to the bottom half in this series finale. Kenta Maeda takes the ball when you come back. And Chip Hale's team ready to bat against Kenta Maeda. Gene Segura will lead it off. He's had good numbers against Maeda so far this season. Then it's Bourne and Goldschmidt. Last night's heroes, Lamb and Drury at 4 and 5. Freeman and Gosewich getting rare starts. For Freeman, his first career major league start. Ahmed out of the 8th spot. Then it's Ray, and it's all against Kenta Maeda.
Coming off a great game against San Diego, 13 strikeouts in that game, of course a career high, and he leads all qualifying National League rookie starting pitchers. I know he had 8 years over in Japan, but as far as the rules are concerned, he is the top rookie National League pitcher. And so you're looking at a guy who's got a chance with Corey Seager to be Rookie of the Year.
Yeah, it didn't keep Ichiro from winning the award, right after he had the storied career in Japan. Segura jumps over the first one, fouls it back. Dodgers have done a nice job against Segura in this series, but he owned them over the first couple of series between the teams this year. And is 4 for 5 against Maeda. Kenta quickly ahead of him, 0-2.
There are 4 guys in this lineup that have given Kenta a little bit of trouble. You're looking at Segura at 800, Lamb at 600, Castillo at 667, and Michael Bourne at 500. So he's going to be changing the sequencing against those 4 guys.
Corey Seager. And Segura's the first out.
And now the Dodger defense is brought to you by Clamato, and we're featuring Mr. Yasiel Puig, who's standing out there in a very spacious center field. His first start in center field today. Dave Roberts saying in his media scrum that he's very comfortable with Yasiel out there today, changing up the lineup a little bit, maybe to spark the offense again, but also to get some guys a rest going into the off day, where you get the benefit of not only one off day tomorrow, but you get two if you get this game off.
Michael Bourn. Did you just hear the announcement they made over the press box PA?
I did. I don't think that triple play would be really good for a scratchy throat.
No, I'm going to stay away. So they just announced that there will be 2 triple play desserts for the media to sample in the press box soon. $25 dish they're having today because today is National Ice Cream Day. And it's a $25 pile of ice cream and brownies. And
for sanitary reasons, if you would like a taste, I think I'll buy our own for our booth instead of for the whole media contingent.
Or just hurry in there and grab one of the 2 and bring it back here
early.
Yeah.
Pilfer it.
$25 and 3,000 some calories.
Nice.
So stay hot.
How long is the plane ride to Washington? I could walk the aisles back and forth.
Probably long enough to walk that off. Maeda's 2-1 to Bourn. Up the middle and a base hit. Bourn testing Puig and throwing on the brakes. Bourn scored the tying run in the 9th inning last night and has a single with one gone here in the first.
On National Ice Cream Day, the triple play ice cream, they can scoop up a storm.
There you go.
It's got a brownie in there, chocolate ice cream, chocolate chips. You got the waffle cones broken down on the side. Wow. All yours for just $25.
You get to keep the helmet though.
Yeah.
Uh-oh, what do we got here?
It's like some whipped cream. It's like caramel sauce is going to go on there on the right-hand side.
I don't know if they put the sauce on it, but I think that kind of calls for it. Top it off, right? Why stop at
for
3,000
$25?
calories?
The helmet should be like one for Bruce Bochy.
Yeah, or signed by Bruce Bochy.
Yeah, the Bruce Bochy triple play. Would get that in San Francisco.
Yeah. Here's Goldschmidt. Took ball 1 from Maeda, who's back with the next one. Goldschmidt number 2 in the majors since mid-May in batting average. After first month, it was his worst as a major leaguer. All-star for the 4th consecutive season. Debuted in 2011. After only a couple of seasons in the minors. His debut came in a game in San Francisco. And there's always, you find, wild stories of guys trying to get to their first major league game after their call-up. In Goldschmidt's case, on his flights from AA Mobile to San Francisco to join the Diamondbacks for his debut, his plane was struck by lightning. It was delayed 3 times because of mechanical problems and weather, and then he got in the air finally and probably wished he wasn't up there. He was struck by lightning, finally made it to San Francisco, made that debut, and has been an all-star 4 consecutive seasons since. Maeda's fallen into a dangerous spot behind the slugger, 3-1. Laid in a fastball at 90, 3-2.
One of our charters when I was playing hit some turbulence and lightning also, and really dropped a significant amount in a big way, and only really on the left side, so we were tilted, and it was really, really scary. one of the veteran pitchers on the team was reading a book in front of me, and I asked him, was he scared when it happened? And he said no. And I said, well, why is your book upside down?
Fouled off of Ellis.
I just leaned over to talk to him, and he's got his book pretending like he's reading, and it was up.
Wow.
I'm like, oh.
But a veteran couldn't show a sign of weakness, right?
Right.
Wouldn't scare him.
Kind of like yesterday, I can't mention any names.
Yeah, right.
He was left-handed.
Trying to hint at the pitcher that once demanded that they close the roof here in Arizona because the ball flies better when the roof's open. And this noteworthy pitcher was having a hard time. And so he demanded close that dang roof to Bob Brenly. Stop giving hints. Bob Brenly shouted out to the umpire and made up an excuse that there was bad wind and storms coming, so they had to hurry and close it. Goldschmidt flips a base hit to right. Bourne was moving with a pitch. He goes first to third. Walters with a bullet. Almost got him. Justin Turner says, take a look. And so does Zach Walters.
Zach Walters, known when he came over here to the Dodgers for his gap-to-gap and home run power, but he's got a powerful right arm over there in right field. When you have the ability to put Yasiel Puig into center with his roaming ability, you got to have a bullet arm here. No sense trying to hit the cutoff man. He got to that ball so quickly, Goldschmidt would never have a chance to get the second. So he just airmails it all the way there, and it's bang, bang.
And Bourne was totally caught off guard by it.
He sure was. Not sliding, having to hang on with the toe, stay on the bag.
Now batting, third baseman, number 22.
And they decide not to challenge it. That front toe got there to the bag. They go through the replay process of checking with the video man John Pratt down below in the clubhouse, and he signals up to Bob Guerin, the bench coach, and says it was the right call. Save that challenge. So Arizona has him at the corners for Jake Lamb with one gone in this scoreless first inning. National League's leader in slugging takes a ball. And when you combine those baseline traditional numbers with the ability to come through in clutch spots like he did last night, tying the game with 2 outs and 2 strikes, and then scoring the winning run with a leadoff triple in the 12th, Arizona has a gem.
In some ways, I'd almost rather face Drury with bases loaded, 1 out, than this guy, as hot as he's been. Also 3 for 5 off of Kenta Maeda so far, so he sees him real well. You get a right-hander up there with the double play still in order. I know you put another guy into scoring position, but I would pitch him very carefully.
Breaking ball drops in, strike 1. How about a 2-0 breaking ball?
Yeah, that's the right thing, I think, just to kind of fool him completely right there, not give in. The main thing here is you pretty much sacrifice the run at third if you're a starting pitcher. Long way to go, first inning, trade outs for runs.
Line to center. Puig comes on, lays out, can't get it. Jake Lamb with an RBI single. Diamondbacks lead 1-0.
Great job by Yasiel to take the risk reward of this and go for the catch, but also make sure he keeps the ball around him, keeping Goldschmidt to just second base. You also get Goldschmidt in between at first base a little bit and have a chance, if you don't catch it, to maybe get a force play at second. A nice job there with blocking it with his body, not taking it off to the side as he goes for the attempt.
His first game in center, first start in center since the final day of the 2014 regular season. And 3 straight 1-out singles for the Diamondbacks. Brings up Drury. Rookie had his first career walk-off hit last night. Dodgers elected to load the bases, set up the force at all stations, and then brought in the extra infielder. They brought Howie Kendrick in from left. But Drury punched it through a vacated area on the right side. Another base hit. Puig can't cut it off. 2 runs will score on a double from Brandon Drury, and Arizona with a 3 spot in the first.
Drury got a bash last night with a base hit to right because it was the game winner in the walk-off. This one, of same approach, using the right side of the diamond. Last night was a hard line drive ground ball. This one was a linea in that gap. See, his 16th double this season and puts Arizona on top 3-0.
And so Maeda struggling to recapture the form of his last start of the first half when he had those career-high 13 strikeouts and no walks. Over 7 innings. Only gave up 2 hits over those 7 innings, and he's allowed 4 in succession here in the first.
It's about getting out of this inning and then getting on the bench and regrouping and charting the waters to try and go 6 innings and keep the score right at the 3 spot and give your team a chance to come back. You start the game thinking about a utopia of throwing a perfect game, and then they get a hit, throwing a shutout. But right now it's about damage control.
Major league debut from Mike Freeman, who fouls off the 0-1 pitch, and it's 0-2. Activated today with Chris Herman to the disabled list with a hamstring injury. Freeman is 28 years old. Actually going on 29. Florida native, played his college ball at Clemson and has played in more than 700 minor league games, all with his sights set on this opportunity. 1-2.
You root for guys like this, except when they're playing your team. It's kind of fun to see somebody stick with their passion and their love and go for it. Another kind of go for it just arrived in the booth. The triple play ice cream helmet.
Oh, I'm going to let you keep that.
I'm on a diet.
There's no carbs in that. 2-2 on Freeman. 3 already in the bank for the Diamondbacks here in the first. Singles from Bourne and Goldschmidt and Lamb, and then a double from Drury. Quietly having one of the top rookie seasons in the National League this year. Maeda with a 2-2, and Freeman swings through an elevated fastball for out number 2.
Waited a long time for that at bat. Got a strikeout from Kenta Maeda, also a rookie. Sure, it'll still be a memory for the rest of his life.
I'll go on his Wikipedia page. First major league at bat was against the Dodgers. Kenta Maeda, and he struck out. Tuffy Gosewish, only his 4th game this season. He was killing it in AAA and was called up at the beginning of July. It started to solidify himself as a big leaguer last year, but blew out his knee early on in the season. And that partially led to the Diamondbacks going and getting Wellington Castillo from the Mariners. Maeda, over his first 18 starts this year, allowed 3 first inning earned runs. He's allowed 3 first inning earned runs today.
He has been advertised. This is a great sign by the Dodgers. He's slipped into the rotation after Clayton's injury and hasn't been back yet. He's been labeled the ace. Early on, he was looking as to be the number 2 and has really done that.
That gets back-to-back strikeouts to bring this first inning to a close, but the Diamondbacks played 3, and the Dodgers will have to battle back on this Sunday afternoon. I do, but
if we were up 3-0, I'd be eating a little of this. Since we're down 3-0, I'm going to.
Got to earn it.
Yep.
Middle third of the Dodgers order against Robbie Ray here in the second. Scott Van Slyke leads it off, hitting cleanup. For the first time this season, Adrian Gonzalez getting the day off, partially because of what you mentioned, gives him the back-to-back off days with a scheduled team off day tomorrow. But also partially because he's hitless in his career against Robbie Ray.
You always want your best players in the lineup, but you always want to keep your best players at their best. And so you then also want to keep your bench guys fresh and locked in. And all the combinations.
There's a high line drive back to the wall and left. And Van Slyke with a missile to begin this second inning. He's got a double. Common theme this weekend has been Van Slyke barreling balls up.
This swing, watch this swing. He is so short to the ball. You never see the hands really disappear from the center field shot. They stay in the shot. They never get wrapped behind his shoulder or his head. So that gives him a clear path to just drop the head of the bat right down there on the ball. And he has been doing that very often, as you say, Joe.
4 for 7 now in this series. And the first runners in scoring position opportunity for the Dodgers one day after that. 1 for 15 in these situations. Puig gets hit.
I don't think it was on purpose, but they definitely are coming in there looking for a strike, and he just cuts this ball in there, misses up, and then actually has a lot of movement that is chasing Yasiel's arm.
Friday night, warnings were issued to both sides after Justin Turner was hit by an Edwin Escobar fastball. These two teams have a history.
And the umpires are briefed before a series or remember series in the past. Sometimes they'll even call managers in before the series and just say, hey, or stop by both sides of the locker room and say, we're not issuing warnings, but we want you to know that we know about the tension here. But I don't see anything real intentional in what's going on. I think it's just guys coming in, and it's a tough pitcher's ballpark where the ball is carrying these 3 games, and guys don't want to let guys get their arms extended.
And they had to do a mid-series briefing for this guy, Stu Sherwater, who was replacing Dale Scott. Scott was the one who left yesterday's game in the first inning after a foul tip-off of the mask. Chris Taylor in his first at-bat since that memorable night on Friday when he finished a single short of the cycle. His first career home run was a grand slam. The first player in Los Angeles Dodgers history to have that be the case. It happened 4 times in Brooklyn, but the last time 1956 when Chico Fernandez had that happen. We appreciated Chris spending some time with Alana Rizzo during yesterday's game.
And A.J. Ellis actually stuck his head in.
A.J. wanted to know why they never interviewed him about his near cycle while he was with Murray State, or while he was with Austin Peay against Murray State.
He was sarcastically say, come on, turn the page. Are we still talking about this with Chris?
Yeah, right.
It had been less than 24 hours.
So in Ellis's near cycle while he was in college, he was a single short as well, double, homer, and triple in his first 3 at-bats, and then went 0 for 3 in his final 3 trips up. He said the worst 3 for 6 ever. Here's a 2-1, and Chris Taylor swings through it, 2-2.
Robbie Ray in his first inning threw 10 pitches, no balls. This inning, 9 more, and throwing some balls and got a couple guys on with some traffic. So good start in the first inning, but right now he's got to respond to this, and he's facing a very tough hombre right now that's swinging a hot bat.
Here comes his 2-2. Up and in. Count goes full on Taylor. And while he finished a single short of the cycle, his 6 RBIs were the second most by a Dodgers second baseman, and the most since Jackie Robinson knocked in 6 while he was playing second in 1949. Only guy to have more as a second baseman, Billy Herman, knocked in 7 in a game in 1943. Runner takes off from second on ball 4. And so the bases are loaded. Puig was anchored at first when the runner takes off from second on a 3-2, and the runner at first doesn't. I figured there was some cross signals.
Yeah, Chris Taylor being trusted by Dave Roberts to start the runners, or at least Scott Van Slyke got that sign. And a lot of times as a guy on first, even if you don't get the sign, you just read the guy on second. You get your lead like you're running, and if he doesn't break, you don't break, and if he does break, you do break. So you've got 2 chances there to get the signal, either from your coach or from your lead runner.
Nice opportunity here for A.J. Ellis with the bases loaded and nobody out in the second. He takes strike 1 on the first pitch that he sees here in the second half, and has a word with home plate umpire Bob Davidson, which is always a very fragile thing when you're a catcher up there hitting, to argue balls and strikes, because you want to make sure you maintain that relationship for your own pitcher. So he got a bottom of the strike, bottom of the zone strike. Now he gets one to the top of the zone.
And now if you're AJ, you got to forget about the umpire and you just got to battle. See ball, if it's close to the strike zone, try and put it in the play. And you'd rather put it in play in the air than on the ground. You just want to stay away from the double play here. AJ doesn't run well. If you're pitching to him right here, you'll trade an out for a run for 2 outs. That's why you'd rather see AJ try and hit one in the air, get the sac fly.
Ray to Ellis with a 1-2. It bounces in. Gosuich keeps it in the vicinity, and the runners hold 2-2.
That is a saved wild pitch. That's not an easy block at all. This ball bounces well out in front of home plate, almost doesn't make the circle of dirt around the area. You have no idea usually where that one's going.
Van Slyke at third, started the inning with a double. Puig was hit by a pitch, and Taylor walked. Dodgers trying to answer back to the D-backs' 3-run first inning. Ellis down on strikes.
Got to get guard against that low strike, and that's where this one starts. But then that slider goes down and in. AJ has caught a lot of those from Clayton Kershaw. That time he had to try and hit one.
So now Zach Walters, who made his Dodger debut with the line out last night. That was as a left-handed hitter. This comes from the right side. And a big spot early in this game. Walters takes ball one. Former Washington National, who the Dodgers will see on Tuesday. Former Cleveland Indian. Dodgers purchased him early on this season, and he's torn it up in AAA.
Pinch hit appearance last night, hit a bullet to first base. As a left-handed hitter, he's a switch hitter.
'97 from Ray.
Mentioned when Ray took them out at the beginning of the game, the second hardest fastball from left-handers in the big leagues as far as average velocity, up above 92 miles an hour. To average that high, you've got to hit some 97s.
Is 1-1. Back to a fastball. Strike two. Ray in his third major league season, but his first full major league season. From the Tigers to the Diamondbacks. Made his debut in 2014, just 9 games in Detroit, and came over prior to last season. Is 1-2. Gets it. Back-to-back strikeouts for Robbie Ray. And now all he's got to do is get Maeda to get out of this bases loaded jam.
Bob Davidson's got a big inside corner right now, and he's also pretty big on the top side of the strike zone and the bottom side. And guys throwing 96, 97, that's going to make it hard to hit.
So Maeda, whose home run came in his first game with the Dodgers. Right back to that inside corner for a strike. Now the 0-1. In the air to center. Michael Bourn is there, and one night after a run for 15 with runners in scoring position, the Dodgers had the bases loaded with nobody out, couldn't cash in. Dodge Challenger. Test drive one at your local Dodge Sportsnet LA is brought to you by the Dodge Challenger. Test drive one at your local Dodge dealer today. Today is the 75th anniversary of Joe DiMaggio's 56-game hitting streak ending. He did walk on that day, though, and the on-base streak extended to 74. The MVP that season. Even though Ted Williams hit above 400 the last 400 season, it was DiMaggio that was named the MVP. Nick Ahmed swings at the first Maeda pitch. And A.J. Ellis runs into the back of Ahmed. And it will be interference on Nick Ahmed as Ellis went out to field that ball. And Ahmed was in his way. The fielder has the right of way to field a batted ball.
I think the Diamondbacks are arguing that he was still in the batter's box. Let's take a look at the replay of when the collision occurs. Now, Ahmed's still in the batter's box. I don't see that as interference, but the Dodgers will take that.
So being in the batter's box,
if he has any contact, 1 foot, you're not out of the batter's box until your body is completely out of it.
Now on a batted ball, normally, when the batter's box isn't in the equation, the onus is on the runner to get out of the way of the fielder. Also the fact that this falls foul.
Well, now he's out of the batter's box there. Yep, he is in fair territory. Bob Davidson made a good call. As the plate is in fair territory, and that's where he was. He wasn't in the batter's box. He was completely out. That replay, you see it.
And as soon as the ball's put in play, the onus goes on the runner. And when he stepped out of the batter's box into fair territory, he became one. And Ellis needs an uninterrupted path to be able to catch that ball, or interference is called. Robbie Ray comes up with one gone and a 3-0 game in the second. Looks at strike one. Bounce gently to first. Van Slyke feeds Maeda for out number 2. Well, Maeda's 13 strikeout game in the final day of the first half was only the 15th time in the last century that a Dodger pitcher had 13 strikeouts with no walks in a game. 15 times the last century. 5 of the previous 14 were Clayton Kershaw, including twice this year.
Imagine that.
Yeah.
He's absolutely amazing.
Second time through the Arizona order. Gene Segura fouls it off.
Clayton Kershaw was one of the main reasons I came home here to the Dodgers. But I looked at him. I want to be around every 5th day to watch him pitch, instead of working for the network and seeing him maybe once a year. And we also had Mr. Greinke at that time. It was going to be a nice combo. The guy on the mound right here is awful fun to watch pitch too. I know he struggled there in the first, but he is a pitcher through and through.
Trying to answer that rough first inning with a 1-2-3 second. Segura lays off 2-2.
A lot has been talked about with Kenta Maeda as the league caught up to him using the slider as his out pitch. Still in the National League, throws the lowest percentage of fastballs, right around 41%. But the Dodgers did encourage him to start throwing more fastballs so the league couldn't sit on the slider. And he has done that through the first couple times of the order. Right now he's over 55% fastballs. He's trying to attack with that.
Segura flies one to right. Zach Walters is there. And after the 3-run first inning, a 1-2-3 second for Maeda.
Kendrick is set to lead off this inning. He's exactly the man you want at the plate. If anything has happened over this week, he's the guy. Of course, he's had 3 straight games with at least 3 hits. Yesterday, 4 for 5 with a walk. And as the heat has warmed up, or the temperature has warmed up, so has Howie Kendrick. This month alone, a .417 average, 20 for 48. He has an opportunity to make some history tonight, guys. The only LA Dodger player with 3+ hits in 4 straight games, Ted Sizemore, in 5 straight. Did it way back in 1970. Howie could do that today.
And that's our T-Mobile greater coverage of baseball, brought to you from T-Mobile, of course, and thank you, Alana.
Quickly behind Robbie Ray, 0-2. Grounded out to second his first time. Lays off a fastball that had to be enticing up there around the letters. Ball 1.
That's the thing hitters will tell you. The ball up there they see so well because you actually see the complete bottom of the ball, ball down by the knees. You see the whole ball halfway there, but then as the ball angles down towards your knees, you only see the top half.
Kendrick starting the 3rd. Against Robbie Ray, who was drafted initially by Washington in the 12th round back in 2010. He was traded to the Tigers for Doug Fister before the 2014 season. And then traded again prior to last year in a 3-team deal. It's starting to look like the Yankees won. Didi Gregorius went from the Diamondbacks to the Yankees. Shane Green went from the Yankees to the Tigers, and Ray went from the Tigers to the Diamondbacks. And in the case of Shane Green, he was one of the worst starting pitchers in baseball last year. Struggling again this year. A lot of time spent in the minors. And Didi Gregorius is emerging as a really nice shortstop, taking over for Derek Jeter in New York. A near impossible task to be the guy that follows Jeter, but he's handled it well.
Hey, Robbie Ray moved around an awful lot for a guy who's left-handed. That's first a Scout's dream, and throws above 95 miles an hour. That's another Scout's dream. I'm just waiting for him to turn the corner and really start to understand how much ability he has. He and Archie Bradley, and then they had Zach Greinke and Shelby Miller. They thought this rotation was going to be really good.
Howie Kendrick earns the second walk against him to open this third inning. They had high expectations for this team. A lot of people thought it'd be a three-team race with the Dodgers and the Giants and the Diamondbacks. But Arizona has dropped 13 of its last 16. 18 games out of first place. And at this point, it looks like this will be a fifth consecutive year finishing at least 11 out of the West. Corey Seager looks at strike one. Underperformances and injuries, a story for the Diamondbacks this year. A.J. Pollock, their star center fielder, went down 2 days before the season started. Although they say that he's trending in the right direction, could come back by the end of the year. David Peralta, Chris Owings, Socrates Brito, all injured. Zach Greinke right now is on the disabled list. Be a couple of weeks before he's back, it sounds like, with an oblique. Ruby De La Rosa was pitching decently well. He went on the DL early and is starting to rehab back now. Nice stop by Gosewich, who's made a few of them.
Sure has. Robbie Ray all of a sudden looks very locked in, and then all of a sudden just loses it. We saw the slider like that pitch right there thrown much better to A.J. Ellis to strike him out last inning, and that one just pulled into the ground in a 1-1 count. Almost like there's some disbelief at times with what he's about to throw. He misses so badly.
Bounce to second. Segura feeds Ahmed, and a tailor-made double play.
Don't miss the highly anticipated matchup with the Red Sox when they return to Dodger Stadium for the first time since 2013. Be at Dodger Stadium Sunday, August 7th, when the first 40,000 fans in attendance receive Dodger Blue Socks, courtesy of AM/PM. For tickets, visit Dodgers.com/promotions.
So the base is wiped clear and 2 gone for Justin Turner. Been a different guy over the last month after his slow start to the season. Power has come back for him. 14 home runs. Inching closer to matching his career high, which he set last season. 16 long balls. There's still a couple months to be played. Robbie Ray pitches him a 1-1, and Turner fouls it off 1-2. Most importantly for Justin, after having that knee surgery last year when the season finished, to take care of something that had bothered him over the second half of the year and during the postseason and through the offseason, he continued to have to rehab it right into spring training. Knock on wood, but he's remained healthy over the first several months this year.
There's getting healthy, then there's having rehab, then there's a limited amount of swings you're allowed to take to get yourself ready.
Gonna reach on a strike 3. Second time it's happened in this series. Happened once for the Diamondbacks on Friday night. So Turner's aboard to keep the inning going.
Once you have 2 strikes against Robbie Ray, you've got to start the bat and respect the 96, 97 mile an hour fastball. The 3rd hardest fastball in the big leagues with 2 strikes. So you'll see some Dodgers swinging at some breaking balls in the dirt every once in a while in this game off of him. That one just went through the wicket of Gosewich.
Van Slyke hit a ringing double his first time off of the wall in left field. Dodgers had the bases loaded last inning with nobody out and could not score. And Van Slyke gets hit. Turner with a look of disbelief.
This is not a good pitching staff when it comes to command, and it's definitely not a good pitching staff when it comes to pitching inside. They're pitching inside, but they're doing it with some erratic mechanics and command. And it is getting very frustrating and irritating to the Los Angeles Dodgers. In your gut, you might think, you know what, that's not on purpose. 2 out, man on first. They don't want to put first and second. But the frustration and the irritation of continually getting hit, as you see the look on Justin Turner's face, it's just too often for this level of baseball.
Puig was hit his first time up, and here he is representing the tying run in the 3rd inning. Mike Butcher, the pitching coach, coming out just like he did after Puig was hit last inning. There it is.
Oh my gosh. Too bad you didn't get us yesterday. We both
Looking
had
good.
shirts on.
You and Nomar get me on this carb-free diet. We happen to come through here when they're serving my favorite food, maybe in the world.
Oh, you a big ice cream guy?
Oh, God.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, the belly was established not from athletics. It was established from
ice cream.
Midnight ice cream, watching a movie.
There better not be chocolate in my teeth.
This is years of practice.
Uh-huh.
Chocolate mint chip.
Oh, love it. So after the mound visit, Ray's first one to Puig. Bounced up the middle where Segura's waiting. And the inning. Dodgers leave 2 more. They've left 5 over the first 3. Maeda in the first inning, scoring those 3 Arizona runs. This is his 3rd start against the Diamondbacks this year. His first career start at Dodger Stadium. 6 shutout innings and a no decision. As Michael Bourn fouls off the first one. And then his 2nd time against Arizona was here in June. Gave up 2 runs over 5 1/3, 2 earned runs at least. And left the game after Paul Goldschmidt hit that line drive off his shin. Said it was the most pain he's ever felt. Just below the knee. Was down for quite a while, had to be helped down the steps in the dugout. And the fact that he didn't miss a start, it wasn't something more significant, sure was good news when he saw the reaction that he had and found out after what kind of pain he was in that it was just a bruise. One-two to Bourne. Chris Taylor will throw him out.
You know, we had Archie Bradley on the mound yesterday. He was struck in the face. We have Maeda on the mound who's gotten a line drive off the leg from Paul Goldschmidt. I remember when I got a line drive off the bat of Dale Murphy that hit me at the end of spring training. And there's a little memory there. I was surprised that, you know, Maeda has gone through this with Goldschmidt, came right after him with strikes, because sometimes you get a little flinch from that memory that a guy hit you. You've got to battle through that one. I remember continuously for about 4 or 5 more at bats when Murphy would come up against me, I'd like remember that incident.
Maeda's been hit twice this year. He got hit in the hand at New York a couple of starts before Goldschmidt hit him. 1-1. Got hit in the first inning by a batted ball in the hand. Wound up going 5 or 6 innings in that game at Citi Field. And continued to make himself into a guy that is loved in that clubhouse. First it was his personality that endeared him, then it was his performance, and then it was his grit over these last couple of months. 2-2.
Very rarely do pitchers get hit on balls inside, in inner half of the plate. It's mostly down the middle and the outside corner.
A smash that Seager spears off of bounds and throws Goldschmidt out.
After that bullet, this guy's been hitting bullets all over the field against the Dodgers this series. Let's take a look at the Carlscam replay yesterday in the 9th to give Kenley Jansen the blown save. This double drives in the tying run, and then in the 12th leads off with a triple that ends up scoring the winning run, and he has continued the heat right here, getting the first RBI in this game today. A line drive to center field, driving in Bourne. That's your Carlscam replay.
Lamb with the bases empty and 2 gone. Takes ball 1. He said after last night's game that as a rookie last year, struggled in those situations, those clutch situations, because he had all these thoughts going through his head. What if I don't come through? What if I make a mistake? He's eliminated the fear of failure and said those spots are just a ton of fun for him now. Here's a high fly ball to deep center field. Way back there and gone. This guy is something.
Kenta Maeda trying to mix his pitches now, going away from the slider, throwing a few more curveballs. 4 curveballs in the first 2 innings. He's thrown 6 this inning, including that one right there. It might have been a big backdoor slider or a curveball, but Lamb made him pay.
Brandon Drury on the first pitch grounds into the shift. Seager moved over in the hole to retire the side. Maeda serves up the home run to Lamb, and after 3 innings, Arizona's up 4-0.
Trail 4-0. We take a look at Robbie Ray pitches by inning. The 10, the 22, and the 19. It starts to elevate. And let's take a look at the Coors Light cold hard facts. And Robbie Ray, we see with his erratic control today, at times hitting some Dodgers. Hit Scott Van Slyke, hit Yasiel Puig, and those pitches per inning are up there when you are erratic. What an arm out there, an electric arm, but he needs to hone it in and get more efficient.
Chris Taylor leads off this inning for the Dodgers and takes ball one. 6, 7, and 8 due up for LA. Taylor walked his first time. That loaded the bases with nobody out in the second. Ray was able to mow down the bottom third of the order to get out of it with no damage. Taylor showed bunt and took ball two. He wasn't lying when he said the other night that that bunt attempt for the cycle was part of his game.
That and permission from your manager to go ahead and go for it when you're standing in the on deck circle.
Taylor lashes a base hit to right. And the leadoff man on for the Dodgers here in the fourth.
Nice approach coming off a career game and hitting a grand slam that you just absolutely crushed to left field, and then staying within the approach that keeps you consistent with that line drive to right field.
So here's Ellis, who the Dodgers took in the 18th round, 2003, thanks to that near cycle. Well, he's with Austin Peay. Been 7 major leaguers all time out of that program. Rays 1-0. Pops the mid at 93, 1-1. First start this series for Ellis. As Grandal started to heat up. Less inclined to want to give Grandal a day off when he's hitting the way that he has in July. One of the top hitters in the National League, average wise, on base percentage wise. He had that 3 home run game.
It's been 8 days for A.J. Ellis since he's been back in the Major League batter's box, and then you got to face a guy throwing 96, 97. Got to dial it up a notch compared to hitting off BP pitchers thrown from behind a screen at about 60 miles an hour. Wouldn't be surprised if before the game he was down underneath in the cage cranking the machine up really fast to get used to seeing this velocity.
Waits on a 1-2 and chases a high fastball for strike 3. That's the 4th punch out for Robbie Ray. 1 gone in the 4th.
Robbie Ray has an electric fastball and he throws it often. Bartolo Colon, everybody knows that young man, tongue-in-cheek, throws a lot of fastballs.
Yeah.
But Robbie Ray, 70.6. A lot of confidence in the heater. And maybe why we see him default to that so much after we see the erratic breaking ball he's been throwing.
You hear George Lombard down there, first base coach, calling for a balk. How about the balk last night in San Francisco or in San Diego that cost San Francisco the game? A walk-off balk. Santiago Casillas stumbled while delivering a pitch home. The runner from third was granted home to give San Diego the win. We were scoreboard watching here, and we're both upset about the Dodgers losing the game in extras. Saw that the Giants had taken the lead on a Posey home run in the 10th after tying it, and then glanced up and saw San Diego had won it in the bottom of the 10th. Found out later how. Walters on the ground to third. Long way to go for Lamb, and it's not in time. Good hustle from Chris Taylor to beat the throw.
Sure, we'll have a little delay right here as the Diamondbacks take a look at their video replay before they ask or don't ask. We get the first glance here. Probably a little better angle. Segura, he thinks he's out. I don't know. Good hard slide by Chris Taylor. Not popping up, getting hard into that bag, risking injury on the ankle because he's sliding late, wants to get there as soon as possible.
And Chip Hale is going to challenge Earl.
Yeah. There's a range of emotions yesterday. We thought we had all positive ones there for about 8 innings, right? Giants were losing. We were up 1-0. We were a little frustrated. We didn't have any insurance runs. Then all of a sudden the tying run comes in the 9th after we're down to 1 strike. Then we're seeing the scoreboard change again. Then we lose, and they're ahead. And it was good. There was the locker room, I think, got saved emotionally from that tough loss because of the Giants' loss late in San Diego. A little easier to turn this one around today and get back after the Diamondbacks. It'll be even a little easier in this game right here if Chris Taylor's safe at second.
It was only the 15th walk off in the last 40 years, so no more than one every 3 years. Last one, you remember the last walk off? Dodgers Rangers last year. Kike Hernandez was at third, and Keone Kela,
right,
the Rangers, balked him in.
He bluffed down the third base line and got the balk. Let's see. It's a hard one because is the ball in the glove or is it just is it touching the glove? And I think if it's that hard to tell, I think the call in the field will stand.
I want to agree with you, but I think they're going to say that he's out. It was on the back of the glove before that foot got in there.
You have younger eyes than me.
I hope my young eyes are wrong.
You could write a song about that.
Blown save last night for Santiago Casilla. That was the 19th blown save for San Francisco. Hard to believe that they have the best record in the majors, but they've blown more saves than any team in the majors. 19 of them, including 7 of their last 11 opportunities. It's out.
Young eyes were right. Our heart had him safe.
Kenley Jansen's blown save, the Dodgers 14th this year. That's 5th most in the NL. And so instead of 2 on with 1 out, runner at first with 2 out. Here's Maeda, who flied to center his first time. Muscles it back to the mound for Ray. And this inning ends. Arizona leads the Dodgers 4-0 as we go to the bottom of the 4th.
Dodgers trail 4-0 going into the bottom of the fourth, but when we get back to LA, celebrate Japan night on Tuesday, July 26th, when the Dodgers meet the Rays. The first 40,000 fans will receive a bobblehead featuring Kenta Maeda, courtesy of San Manuel Indian Bingo and Casino. Arrive early for a special pregame performances. Also, that's for Japan night, of course, and for tickets called visit Dodgers.com/promotions.
Well done.
Slight stumble.
Now,
You don't want to do it too perfect because then they might
Smart.
ask you more often.
Smart.
It's
It's like doing chores around the house too well.
Well, it's kind of like, you know, a day game after a night game, and you got to rest your key pieces, but we couldn't give you the full day off.
Yeah.
So I'll take a few promos here and there and just kind of get nervous right before I have to read them.
A little adrenaline rush.
Yeah, a little bit. I'm noticing what you live through.
It's tough reading those promos on a day-to-day basis.
And it took me a couple years to get out of third grade reading. I was one of those kids who couldn't follow from the end of the line to the next line.
Glad to see that you've gotten it down.
I'm getting better.
Mike Freeman in his major league debut, leading off this inning against Maeda. What a moment it has to be for him, even though he struck out his first time. It was Drury at second back in the first inning. More than 700 games in the minors, grinding away down there in the bus leagues. Even in AAA, those flights aren't glamorous. Called up for his debut today.
Tell you, there's some of the happiest times in your life when you do it for what is known as the culturally accepted amount of time. So that would be, let's say, from a year and a half to about 4 years. But when you did it as long as he has, you got to really love to play, because it does become a serious grind, and you wonder if you'll ever get this call.
Maeda winds and deals 0-2. And Freeman swings and misses for strike 3. Ellis tracks it down and throws just in time. Tell me about your call.
September 1st call up in 1983. My manager was Del Crandall and called me into the office about 3 days prior to coming up and said, you're going to go up on September 1st. So I had a couple days to prepare, and actually got in the game, the very first game in Montreal Olympic Stadium, and was in and out of that game pretty quick.
Yeah,
yeah.
Go well.
Got 3 up, 3 down in my
Wow.
first inning, and then went back out there and gave up like 3 doubles in a row. And so from there, it was I was out of the game. So it was a high and a low.
Were you thinking to yourself, my gosh, I may never get back out there? 3 doubles in a row.
I didn't think that, because I had a really good spring training, and they had told me, you know, you're coming to the big leagues. And the Dodgers went the whole year without any changes in the pitching staff. Never got called to the big leagues until the roster expanded. First hitter was Gary Carter, and second pitch he grounded out to Bill Russell, and I was a big leaguer, and it's a really, I'll remember it the rest of my life.
Sweaty palms, any kind of extra.
When they
nerves
told me
to
to
it?
get up in the bullpen, I did not need any warm-up pitches to be loose. There was
could've
so
went
much
right
adrenaline.
in.
Yeah, I mean, the first one out of my arm, I didn't throw real hard, but it was probably 88, 89 miles an hour first one out. And
Yeah.
within 10 pitches, I was like, I'm ready.
Fouled off of Ellis's mask. The guys in the masks have taken a beating in this series. Last night, Dale Scott, home plate umpire, was hit in the mask on the second pitch of the bottom of the first. Went out for concussion testing, and so he was replaced by Lance Barrett. And in the very first pitch that Lance Barrett was behind the plate, he took a foul tip off the mask. Down on strikes goes Gosewich, and that's back-to-back Ks for Maeda here in the fourth.
The new masks that they wear are so light. It's not the arduous task of not only having the mask on and all the weight, but the way they are constructed now, super light, and they do a great job distributing the impact. But still, you get a foul ball at 95 miles an hour or whatever it is, hit right into you. I don't care how nice the masks are, it still hurts.
Jars ya.
Oh yeah.
Maeda trying to work 1-2-3 fourth. Nick Ahmed fouls it off. Ahmed has a younger brother who's playing in the Dodgers system. That's Mike Ahmed, who's in Rancho. Had a pretty good season there. They once played against each other in college. Ahmed at UConn, Mike at Holy Cross, and the game ended in a tie. Just how his parents wanted it, I'm sure.
No bragging rights.
Game went 16 innings, and they called it.
Should have had a home run hitting contest between the two brothers.
Just like at the old timers game. Yeah.
See, Kent has settled down after the 28 in the first, the 9, the 12, and the 13. So after that first, you're hoping, can I get deep into this game and give my team a chance? He's doing a very good job of getting the pitch count back in order. Home run to Lamb, the scratch run after the 3 in the first. If you can give the Dodger bullpen a little rest, they could use some rest today, having him go at least 6, and then the off day tomorrow.
Here's a 1-2. And now the 2-2. Ahmed, who is not a good hitter, doing a nice job battling. By some categories, the worst hitter in baseball, and by some categories, this is the worst offensive season for an everyday position player in Diamondbacks history, which does only go back to 1998. Won the World Series 3 years later in 2001. Another 2-2 from Maeda, who strikes out the side in the 4th. He's got 5 Ks total. Hopes to get some run support as this game rolls on. Toyota dealers. Toyota's summer drive sales event is going on now, where you can save big on the all-new Prius. It was on this day back in 1954 that the Dodgers fielded a lineup with 5 black players in it. It was the first time in Major League history that the majority of a 9-man lineup All black players. Jim Gilliam at second, Jackie Robinson at third, Sandy Amorose in left. Roy Campanella caught Don Newcomb, and they beat the Braves 2-1 at Milwaukee's County Stadium. Howie Kendrick leads off the fifth for the Dodgers and takes strike one from Robbie Ray. So the third trip through the order for Ray, who has struggled the deeper he's gotten into games this year. First time through the order, opponents hit around 200 against him. The second time around 300. But the third trip through the order, opponents are hitting 364 against Robbie Ray. Is 0-2 to Kendrick.
Well, you can see why. I think just the fastball at the beginning is electric. He does have his off-speed stuff that he tries to mix in, so that makes the hitters respect that part. Well, then as he gets to the third time around in the order, the edge of the fastball probably starts to deteriorate down a little bit. The ability for the hitter to adjust to that fastball, because now they've seen it for 2 at-bats, and they start to disrespect the off-speed stuff as it's always going to be a ball. So all of a sudden they start catching up to the fastball. And as you fatigue, sometimes you don't see velocity go down. The first thing to go usually is location, because the pitcher puts more effort into keeping the velocity up, but in putting the more effort in, the mechanics break down, and so the location is lost. One of the toughest things for a pitcher to remember when he gets out there and he has those hump innings that are about adrenaline and there's not enough energy is to not try too hard. The batter has no idea you are fatiguing. The only way you start to show him that is if you're out there and your body language changes out there and you don't hit your spots. They know, of course, from looking up at the scoreboard that your velocity went down from 96 to 94 or 91. Now you're at 89. But if you hit your spots and can put a little movement on it and you can change speeds, you can pitch with a variety of tools in an outing. But you can't pitch deep into a game without throwing strikes, hitting your spots.
Kendrick's making him work. This would be the 10th pitch of this at bat. Leading off this 5th inning, Dodgers trying to claw back from a 4-0 hole. The 3-2. Do it again.
26 of the 70 pitches that Robbie Ray has thrown have been to Howie Kendrick.
Wow.
He had 15 of the first 51. An 0-2 walk that he got an awful lot of pitches on.
Another 3-2, and Kendrick grounds it gently to Goldschmidt. So Ray wins that battle for the first out here in the 5th inning.
It was Howie's 3rd time leading off an inning this game.
So Ray from the Nationals to the Tigers to the D-backs. The day that he was traded to the Diamondbacks, his mom, who has a Twitter account, tweeted out a picture of him playing Little League, and his Little League team was the Diamondbacks. It's meant to be. Robbie Ray in a Diamondbacks uniform. Second season here now as he delivers a strike to Corey Seager. And some teams have called Dave Stewart in the front office here in Arizona about the young left-hander as the trade deadline approaches, but they said yesterday they're not interested in dealing any starters.
But he's fine with dealing maybe a few bullpen pieces. Already has dealt one to Boston, Brad Ziegler. Putting quite the bullpen together there in Boston. Craig Kimbrell and Ziegler and others that are. Dave Dombrowski, their general manager, president of baseball operations, trying to put quite a pen together.
That ball's hit well to the opposite field, and it bangs off the wall. Seager's got his 3rd double of this series.
Dodgers have had runners on in 4 out of 5 innings, but yet to plate one. Corey Seager starting this inning off with 1 out, double, and only a few feet from clearing the yellow line and putting a tally on the board.
Thing carried really well.
Sure did. Same thing with Lamb's ball. Must be a little hotter here inside the roof today because the ball seems to be carrying the best it has in the series.
Now Turner, who's 0 for 2, ball 1. Now, last night was only the 4th time in 49 games in this ballpark this season that there were no home runs. And the 2-1 Diamondbacks win. So the Dodgers in the last 2 games 1 for 19 in these situations. The 1 hit, Justin Turner's RBI single last night to put the Dodgers up 1-0 in the 3rd. 2-0.
It was a rarity last night too, a chance for a 1-0 game in this ballpark, and the last time they've had a 1-0 game in this ballpark is September 28th of 2014. 1-0 win by the Cardinals here against the D-backs.
And when you talk launching pads, really the focus is just on Coors Field typically in those
People
conversations.
forget about this place.
Another place that doesn't get as much credit as it deserves as a launching pad, Camden Yards. Mark Trumbo leading the majors in homers there this year. Got it in the hands of Turner, who flies it to right. Cincinnati, another place where the ball flies. Yankee Stadium, especially for left-handed hitters.
Philadelphia.
First baseman Scott Van Slyke.
One of the things we talk about in spring training about Arizona is just not enough water molecules in the air for the ball to be able to break against when you throw your breaking stuff, so that the ball is not breaking as sharp. And the same thing in Colorado, the humidity and the altitude, but their lack of humidity is when they give up the most runs in that park. It becomes super offensive.
And managers tend to manage slightly differently in ballparks that are extreme home run parks like this one in Coors Field versus parks that are extreme pitchers parks. The tough thing, Oral, about being a manager in the National League West is that you have both ends of that spectrum. You have Coors Field and Chase Field, but then you have Dodger Stadium and AT&T Park that are big-time pitchers parks.
Yep, San Diego's a good pitcher's park. Jim Leyland got run out of Colorado not because he wasn't a good manager, because he didn't want to manage in that. He couldn't figure it out.
Dodgers unable to take advantage of Seager's 1-out double, and they leave another man in scoring position. Some of that dryness, so hot. Diamondbacks got 3 in the first and 1 in the third. Dodger fans hoping they can find some things to cheer about as this game moves on. Dodgers have continued to struggle with men in scoring position. After the 1 for 15 last night, they're 0 for 5 today. Robbie Ray leads off the frame and takes a strike. That's a foul ball, and it's 0-2.
We had a lot more Dodger fans out in the right field pavilion yesterday.
What
was the name of that?
Pantone 294.
Pantone 294. That was quite a group. What, about
Traveling
800
crowd.
people?
Yeah.
That travel around and go to Dodger games that are away.
And I knew that we had seen them somewhere else, and I got a few tweets from folks in the group. They went to Toronto.
Okay.
They were in New York, San Diego earlier this year, and I believe we saw them in San Francisco as well.
Very enthusiastic group and great supporters of the Dodgers. It was a fun battle between them and the Diamondback fans trying to drown them out.
Really fun atmosphere in here last night. A lot more fun for 8.5 innings and the final 3 1/3 or so, where the Diamondbacks tied it and won it. Rubber match in this one. They're in the 4th inning in San Diego. Giants and Padres are scoreless. Maeda's 1-2. And Ray hammers a ball to right center field. Extra bases for Robbie Ray. This is the best hitting pitching staff in the majors.
Ball's up in his eyes, and he does spank it right in the gap. The only thing you feel good about this, if you're Kenta Maeda, changeup he leaves up. But you're glad the pitcher's running, because this would be a triple for a lot of everyday players. This caroms around away from Walters out there in right field.
So first double of the year for Ray. And back to the top of the order for Jean Segura. Strike 1 on Segura, who is 0 for 2 and 1 for 12 in this series. Third trip through the Arizona order. Maeda dominant this season the first 2 times through, but the third time through, opponents hitting .333.
You know, we've seen that statistic rise like that with both starting pitchers, and that is pretty consistent across Major League Baseball. There's very few that can maintain the low batting average that they usually start out with. Keep it anywhere near what they normally start with. If they start with a 169, if you start with a 220, whatever you start with, it has a tendency to grow for everyone.
Fly ball to center. Yasiel Puig steadies under it. And Ray tags to draw the throw, which goes to Turner, 1 away. Kenta Maeda out of Osaka, Japan, in his first season in the majors. Out of a baseball-crazed country. You know, in the United States, you have March Madness that everybody gets fired up about as far as a tournament. In Japan, they have a nationwide high school tournament twice a year that has as much of a following as the NCAA basketball tournament does in the States. Superstars born in that high school tournament. Here's Michael Bourne. Daisuke Matsuzaka is a guy who tore through that tournament. Yu Darvish threw a no-hitter in the spring version of the tournament. They have one in the spring and then one in the early fall.
One of the scary things that comes out of that tournament is the pitch counts, though.
Yeah.
The workloads they put those kids through over long weekends. Lack of rest and lots of pitches.
Bourne with a fly ball towards the left field corner that Kendrick won't get to. RBI double from Michael Bourne, and it's 5-0 Arizona.
Breaking ball, it kind of leaves up there, and Bourne able to kind of regroup on it because it was telegraphed with its path, and then finds that left field corner. This one caroms away from Howie Kendrick. Michael Bourne's going to make a double with his speed no matter what the ball does in the corner.
So Bourne has scored a run and now driven in a run. And the lead extended to 5-0 as Paul Goldschmidt comes up. In one game in that high school tournament back in the late 90s, Daisuke Matsuzaka threw 250 pitches.
I told you.
Yeah, pitched an entire 17-inning game. The day before, he had thrown 148.
Just that's the one thing about pitch counts is that, yeah, we're trying to figure out what we can do to protect the pitcher's arm. And we talked about the book, The Arm.
Yeah.
The most valuable commodity possibly in sports. It's in some ways it's what you're used to. In other ways, if you're going to get hurt, you're probably just going to get hurt. The renowned pitching coach Tom House has a saying of you're only as strong as your weakest link. And when you get that kind of workload, you're going to develop some weak links.
Bourne got a good jump, and Goldschmidt fouled it off.
Goldschmidt's got to protect with a 2-strike count, so he's fighting it off. He would have loved to have taken the pitch, but he can't let it go by and get rung up. Bourne trying to get there. A lot of times when you have your RBI guy at the plate, if you're going to try and get the third, you want to get there sometime in the first or second pitch so that you don't get a good jump and have your hitter foul off a pitch with 2 strikes. That inside move to second to hold runners and pick them off, the best I've ever seen. Rick Sutcliffe had a pause and a hook in his delivery with his arm and was able to kind of hang in the air and then make that pivot.
Some Kenta fans, some like Oral ice cream fans, it looks like. It was a 1-2 instead of move to second.
Couple ways to hold a base runner at second. You can go daylight, or you can actually have a timed play where you put the play on before you get set, and then there's a timing with your head movement to get your second baseman or shortstop to get in there. The last one when they went down out there to second was just daylight, where the middle infielder flash in there for a step and a half, but if he continues to the bag, you whirl and throw. If he's just taking the step and a half and stops and goes back to his position, you know that he was just bluffing him back. But if he continues on, you turn and throw. Some pitchers are nimble enough that daylight can be on all the time, and other pitchers with their weight distribution or just their psyche cannot take daylight. They have to just step off. They can't take that flinching of possibly reading their middle infielder and then still concentrating on throwing the ball home. They have to have one or the other. Kenta's the kind of guy that you can do whatever you want behind him, and he can do both. He can turn and pick off, or he can deliver the ball home.
Full count on Goldschmidt. Jake Lamb due next.
Very tough part of the Diamondback order. Paul Goldschmidt by resume is the best hitter on the team, but statistically in 2016, the guy on deck is the best hitter on the team.
Eighth pitch of the at-bat is inside for ball 4. First Maeda walk of the day. And they're at first and second for Lamb.
As we bring Jake Lamb up to the plate, time for our top tier play brought to you by Arco. This home run he hit in the 3rd off of Kenta. And to add insult to injury, his last 4 at bats, he has hit for the cycle off the Dodgers. And with him coming to the plate, we escort Kenta off the mound.
Only 4 1/3 for Maeda today, and here comes J.P. Howell. Season for Kenta Maeda. He's allowed 5 runs, and the men at first and second, both his responsibility. In a 5-0 game as J.P. Howell comes in.
I think most Dodger fans would remember J.P. Howell's slow start to this year, but that 3.72 ERA has really been coming down. I think he was up in the 40s or 50s at one time, but in his last 32 games, he's posted a 1.93.
Tough task. Jake Lamb greets him. And Lamb, over his last 4 at-bats, going back to the 9th inning last night when he tied the game with a double, has hit for a cycle. He doubled in the 9th, he tripled in the 12th, and then today a single in the 1st and a homer in the 3rd. Van Slyke's got this one to second for 1. Howell late covering to first.
Nice job by Scott Van Slyke to get the ball to Corey Seager, and then Corey Seager's the toughest throw from a shortstop or second baseman is to lead the pitcher going over, because Van Slyke had to roam to his right. J.P. Howell did a nice job with a man on second, knowing he could be rounding third if he misses the ball on the relay. He's got to make sure he catches this one, because if he doesn't, it'll cost him a run. Read the ball. Don't worry about the bag right now. Way to go.
So 2 away for Drury, who's 1 for 2. Had a 2-run double in the 1st. Won the game last night with the RBI single in the 12th. Howell's 1-0. is low. 2 balls and no strikes. JP's not allowed a run since the last time he pitched in this ballpark. Back on June 14th. That's 10 consecutive scoreless outings. Strike 1.
JP's got a lot of motion, and then the ball doesn't come out the same way as the motion. He's coming at you with knees and elbows and shoulder turn and hip turn and the head, and sometimes the hat flies off, and then it comes out sometimes like a cream puff or a breaking ball.
Seager at short, flips to Taylor, and the inning is over. Nice job by JP Howell to come on and limit the damage and close the book on Maeda. It's Baxter, the mascot's birthday, and so they let him win this race with some help from the other mascots. A bunch of mascots are here to celebrate his birthday. They've announced here it's the first time ever that somebody other than one of the Diamondbacks legend big head mascots has won that race. So there's that, and here's Puig. The lead off the 6th in a 5-0 game. Diamondbacks with 3 in the first, and then single runs in the 3rd and the 5th. Take a look at the shoes that Yasiel Puig is wearing today. I'm going to give you a shot of them. Look at those. And a line drive to right, a base hit in those shoes.
Yasiel contributing to the message on his shoes right there. Trying to set up a Dodger comeback here, leading off the top of the 6th. Win for Vin, and a portrait of Vin Scully right there. Hope he's doing well back in LA and getting ready for the homestand as we finish off this road trip with 2 more cities, with Washington and St. Louis, but work to be done here to catch up to the Diamondbacks.
So Puig starts the inning with a single, and it brings up Chris Taylor, who's reached both times. Walking a single. Strike 1 and a fastball. Shoes even had the hashtag "It's time for Dodger baseball" on them. Pretty cool. Chris Taylor is 25 years old, from Virginia. So he played his college ball. He said because all of his friends and family are back on the East Coast, they didn't find out about his huge game Friday night until the following morning. They'd gone to bed and then woke up and saw the news from after they had gone to sleep that he had that huge game, the 6 RBI game, finishing a single short of the cycle. And his first year in a Dodger uniform. Was called up in late June right after the Dodgers acquired him straight up for Zach Lee from the Seattle Mariners. He's overcome injuries the last couple of seasons to get here. During spring training last year, he fractured his wrist when he was hit by a pitch, but they ruled that the pitch hit the bat, so he had to stay in there with the broken wrist and singled, and was removed for a pinch runner after singling with a broken wrist.
I'm sure he enjoyed some of the media attention that he got through the next 24 hours after the big day. He did the post-game interview with Alana, had a chance to visit with her live in the next ball game. A lot of different reporters, I'm sure, came up and spent time with him. I love when the modern player takes the responsibility of meeting with the media, not only during the positive times but the negative times. It's such a responsibility to communicate with the fans, make sure the game stays popular and everybody knows what's going on in their minds down on the field.
Jammed to second. Segura's got one. Ahmed to first, a double play. Second one induced by Ray this afternoon.
Catcher, A.J. Ellis.
Every inning but the first, the Dodgers have gotten somebody on, but like last night, having a tough time moving them around.
A.J. Ellis has struck out both times so far. Takes strike one. Chris Hatcher getting loose in the Dodger bullpen. Only 4 1/3 from Kenta Maeda today. One and two. Ray gets his 5th strikeout of the game, and despite the leadoff single, faces the minimum here in the 6th. Nissan. Choose Nissan today for great offers on our most exciting lineup ever. Shop online at choosenissan.com. And by Children's Hospital Los Angeles, we treat kids better. Walter Alston on the left there with Sandy Koufax. On this day in 1976, Alston got his 2000th managerial win. In the 23rd and final season of his career. Those were 23 one-year contracts that he signed. Never had any kind of long-term job security with the nature of those deals. The owner of the team, Walter O'Malley, was quoted as saying at one point that Walter was non-irritating. He said, "Do you realize how important it is to have a manager who doesn't irritate you?"
I got a chance to visit with Mr. Alston down in spring training in Vero Beach when I was a minor leaguer. He would come down and hang around Dodger Town and visit for about a week or so. The O'Malleys were great about bringing people back that have been big parts of the Dodger organization. Miss Dodger Town.
Alston won 7 pennants, first 4 World Series titles for the Dodgers. A lot of spring training spent down there in Vero. Three and 2 on Mike Freeman.
In spring training in the dining room, there was a table right before you went through the buffet line, and that table was for management. It's where Tommy Lasorda held court. Our longtime traveling secretary Billy Delury was there. Mr. Alston would be seated at that table when he was in town. Sandy Koufax, Roy Campanella. If you got invited over to that table either to visit or to have dinner when you came through the buffet line, it was an honor and a memory of all the stories and things that you were taught sitting around that table.
I'm guessing you were invited.
I think you started to get invited as your possibility of making it to the big leagues grew.
Okay, so this happened while you were a player. I thought it might be like...
Not as a big leaguer, invited an awful lot.
Okay.
But as a minor leaguer, that's when it was really an honor that you said, "Oh, maybe they do like me." And it was another way for Tommy and management people to get to know you more as a minor leaguer, because they really kind of see you from afar or through the workouts and are watching, but they wanted to get to know you as a person.
Do you remember your first sit down at that table?
Well, I know Campy was there, and I know I think Sandy was at the table, and I know Tommy was at the table for sure, and Billy Delury, because they were all there all the time. Sometimes Mark Cressy, our bullpen coach, but the figures I remember the most were Campy, Sandy, and Skip.
Nervous?
Oh yeah, really nervous. Just kind of quiet as a church mouse and just speak when spoken to. Other than that, just make sure you don't have any food still on your lip after you chew.
Gosawish hits a fly ball to center for Puig, who throws back to first. Freeman's in there safely. Tommy have pretty good table manners there?
It's a loaded question. Of course, Tommy has tremendous manners. When those start to vacate him is when he gets emotional. And so when he gets emotional, he can forget about what's going on, and he will continue to talk to you.
Continue to talk to you.
Let's get back to the game.
Yeah. We want to hear your Tommy stories, though.
He absolutely changed my life.
Ahmed back up the middle. Taylor, a nice scoop of that ball and throw for a double play, and you're off the hook. You don't have to share any more Tommy stories, at least during the 6th inning.
76 Dodgers calendar as we have the off day tomorrow in Washington as the Dodgers fly there after the game today, and the 3 there will start off with Kazmir and then Ryu. We'll see who goes Thursday, and then we move over to St. Louis for 3 before that Sunday night game will be an ESPN game, and then we'll come back home to LA.
Dodgers catching a bit of a break in that they won't see Max Scherzer. It's a TBD for game 1 from Washington. Then Gio Gonzalez on Wednesday. He has not had a good year. Steven Strasburg coming back to start Thursday's game. He's been banged up. Zach Walters' former club. 0 for 2 today in his first start in a Dodger uniform. That ball's crushed to center, but Bourne is there. Now we've seen him make some good contact, but nothing to show for it yet. 1 away. And Yasmani Grandal coming to the plate.
2 of his 4 at bats so far with the Dodgers, he has barreled up.
Grandal, one of the hottest hitters in the National League this month. 364 in July. And hits out of the 9 spot. See if he can start a rally in the 7th. Dodgers scored 13 runs in the opener on Friday night. They've scored 1 run over the last 16 plus innings. San Diego's taken a lead on San Francisco, by the way, 2-0. What if the Padres sweep the Giants?
That feels good for us, but you just feel a little bit of the frustration if you don't gain a lot of ground when that happens.
Yeah, golden opportunity.
Especially coming right out of the All-Star break, and you've got your goal set over that time when you're either resting or you're at the game like Clayton Kershaw and Kenley Jansen and Corey Seager were. But you're setting your team goals about what you want to do and how you want to catch them. And catch lightning in a bottle with the Padres sweeping the Giants, that would be one part of the equation for sure. You win that first game and you pull to 5.5. You lose the second one, but fortunately the Giants lose, so you're still at 5.5, and now you're down 5-0 and they're down 2-0. I feel like an opportunity lost.
Ray blows it by Grandal. Strike 3. The 6th strikeout for Robbie Ray. You know, the Giants, after these 3 in San Diego, start a stretch where 28 of their next 34 games are against teams with a record of 500 or better to start the second half.
There's a 12-game differential on that. The ability of the opponent for the Dodgers and the Giants as far as strength of schedule. Dodgers have 12 less games against those type of opponents. That was at the beginning of the second half. And remember, 9 head-to-head with the Giants left in the year.
6 in LA. 3 in late August, 3 in mid-September. And the final 3 days of the regular season up in San Francisco. All you ask for is that you're within striking distance going into that last weekend, within 3 games with a shot.
I just saw that pitch count go to 100, Joe. Howie Kendrick has almost seen a third of the pitches from Robbie Ray today. This will be the 30th right there at 101.
And Ray finally able to dispose of him quickly. First time in 23 games that a Diamondback starting pitcher has gone 7 full.
Down by 5 as we head to the bottom of the 7th. Get a Howie Kendrick bobblehead on Tuesday, August 9th when the Dodgers play host to the Phillies. Kendrick's bobblehead will be available to the first 40,000 fans in attendance, courtesy of Farmer John. For tickets, visit Dodgers.com/promotions.
Here's Chris Hatcher trying to keep it 5-0. On for the 36th time this season.
And Chris working his way back into the graces of management. Hard guy to give up on, even with that 4.76 ERA. You want to get him back into the high leverage situations, and he's building back in games like this. The velocity is fantastic. The spin rate on the breaking stuff is fantastic. You just got to get more consistent after he gets ahead of the hitters.
Leading off for the D-backs at pitch hitting for Robbie Ray, number 5.
He'll get 9-1-2 in the Diamondbacks order. Third time in as many games in this series. Now we've seen Ricky Weeks Jr. make a pinch hit appearance. He's become somewhat of a pinch hit specialist for Chip Hale. As so many players towards the end of their careers do. This is a former All-Star in Milwaukee. Now in his 13th Major League season. Strike one from Hatcher. Robbie Ray's 7 shutout innings. And flashed some of the reasons that the Diamondbacks have no interest in dealing him.
Can you imagine if he could develop a breaking ball that's consistent? I mean, his role model has to be Clayton Kershaw. I mean, he throws a couple miles an hour faster than Clayton, but doesn't have anywhere near the command and doesn't have anywhere near the breaking ball. And Clayton also commands both sides of the plate. Robbie's doing that pretty much with one pitch.
He's got the Clayton grunt down on his pitches too. You hear some of the effort from Robbie Ray when he pitches.
His pitching with his noise was described to me by Arizona people as half of a woman's tennis match. There's a lot of people in women's professional tennis that do that on Impact. Sometimes in the men's side too. We're kind of taught, in my career, we're taught that the exhaling of air when you're trying to do something fast or powerful is what you're supposed to do. And to guarantee you're exhaling when you're about to do it, that's what the grunt kind of comes from.
By the way, in that 2-0 Padres-Giants game down in San Diego.
Don't tell me both runs have scored on balks.
No, almost crazier.
What?
Weeks checks on Seager, and you've got to wait at least another second for me to tell you. Okay, so it's in the 6th inning, bottom of the 6th inning. So through 6 now. Edwin Jackson is now a Padre, former Arizona Diamondback.
Right.
His first appearance as a Padre. He's no-hit the Giants through 6.
Wow. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah. Best wishes. Top of the order, here's Gene Segura. A couple of former Brewers back-to-back against Hatcher with Weeks, and now Segura dropping a single into center.
As Charlie Steiner would say, we need to send Edwin Jackson a fruit plate.
We need to send Charlie a fruit plate because it's his birthday.
Put a candle in the fruit plate.
Happy birthday, Charlie Steiner.
The same birthday as Baxter.
That's right. He does share a birthday with Baxter. Baxter's the Diamondbacks mascot. The Diamondbacks have a Wildcat for a mascot. Strike one to Michael Bourn.
Kids would be scared of snakes. Snake mascot.
Right, snake mascot, yeah. They couldn't call it the fan-friendliest mascot in sports, and they do call Baxter that. I'm being told it's maybe a bobcat, not a wildcat.
Oh, okay.
Bourn 2 for 3 today. 1-1. You tell me.
Whatever kind of cat you want to call it.
All right. It's not a snake. They got all the local mascots in to celebrate his birthday.
What a birthday party.
What a bash.
They had a birthday parade before the game with all the mascots on different vehicles, and then Baxter, of course, in the grand finale, bringing up the back end.
They didn't invite Charlie on his birthday? Well, happy birthday to Charlie Steiner over in the radio booth. Working with Nomar Garciaparra. Nice job of Bourn to protect.
Nomar will jump back over to our booth for the games in Washington and St. Louis, and Rick Monday will be back with Charlie on the radio. Rick getting a couple days off.
Speaking of the Nationals, Pittsburgh doing a nice job of wearing them out in front of the Dodgers' arrival. 1-1 in the 16th inning in D.C.
I hope they're still playing when we arrive in Washington.
Bourn goes the other way with a single. The Pirates were 1 out away from winning that game 1-0. Daniel Murphy, a pinch hit solo home run to send it to extras, and they're in the 16th now.
Sounds a little bit like the story we had last night. We had to go 12 for the L, but we were 1 strike away.
So 2 on with 1 out. Here's Goldschmidt. After trying to keep it right here, Dodgers down to their final 2 chances in this game. And now facing the meat of the order. 4-time All-Star, MVP runner-up 2 of the last 3 years. Imposing presence at right-handed batter's box. Hasn't always been big, strong slugger, though. He was one of the smaller kids when he was in junior high. Second baseman, 9-hitter when he was in 8th grade. And Paul had a growth spurt when he was a sophomore in high school, and then coupled that with a serious obsession with a weight room. His goal at the time, though, when you're a 9-hitter, second baseman as an 8th grader getting into high school, his goal was just to bulk up and make the varsity squad.
How much hope does that bring if kids would just study somebody like this and learn about his past, to say, you know what? You don't know when that growth spurt's coming. You don't know when your dedication is going to start to pay off. Your body's going to get stronger. The common denominator for all of them is they keep on trying.
So he made that varsity team, and then, as Dodger fans know, the Dodgers drafted him out of high school. One of the very last picks, a 49th rounder. Bounces one to Seager at short. They get 1. Not in time at first. 7th overall pick in the draft that year, Clayton Kershaw. And then 48 rounds later, they took Goldschmidt, but he decided to go to Texas State and play his college ball instead. Diamondbacks eventually drafted him a few years later in the 8th round.
Dodgers holding up on this bang play first. Taking a look at the video. Scott Van Slyke, pretty sure he might have got him, but Dave Roberts held up a hand like, hold on. Play on.
Dodgers ready to be done seeing Jake Lamb for a while. 7 for 12 in this series, and those have not been an empty 7 hits, meaningful, game-changing hits. Hatcher's first one almost hits him.
Fastball in. The Diamondbacks are missing fastballs in and actually hitting people. Chris Hatcher making sure he didn't miss out over the plate with that one.
Well, Lamb didn't like the strike call. AJ's glove was moving down to catch that pitch.
It's one of the hardest pitches for a catcher to frame because it is moving so late and so hard, the split finger, compared to a slider or a curveball.
That one goes all the way to the backstop. Here comes Segura to score the game's 6th run.
Chris just misses the target by a good 1.5 feet here. AJ wants the ball up and in. He just pulls it low and in, almost hits Lamb again. Halfway into the left-hand batter's box.
So they'll put Lamb on now. Goldschmidt has taken second. And it opens up first to put Lamb on intentionally and bring up Brandon Drury. They credited Goldschmidt with a stolen base. He had taken off on that pitch before it got by.
Stolen base for Goldschmidt, and that wasn't during the wild pitch, or it was?
They scored it as a stolen base because he had gotten a good jump in the view of the scorer and would have stolen it anyways. It's his 13th stolen base. How many big slugging first basemen have stolen base totals like that?
Only one that used to play second and bat 9th in high school.
Yeah, right. So they're getting ready to move to the 7th in San Diego, where Edwin Jackson has a no-hitter going against the Giants. Guy that the Dodgers drafted and a long time ago made his debut in a Dodger uniform. Then to the Rays, then the Tigers, then the Diamondbacks. He has a no-hitter in his career. While he was with Arizona, he no-hit his former team, the Rays, at Tropicana Field. Hatcher to Drury with a 1-1 pitch. In the air to center. Puig cruises under it, over the shoulder, makes the catch. On to the 8th inning in Phoenix. 6-0 Arizona.
by your Southern California Chevy dealers. That will be Scott Kazmir, who's trying to respond to a rough outing. It'll be not tomorrow, but Tuesday, as I was just pointed out, because we're going to have an off day tomorrow. But Scott Kazmir last pitched against these Washington Nationals back on June 21st. He started with a W for the Dodgers that day. And Joe Daniel Hudson comes on to try and pitch here in the 8th, shut down the Dodgers.
Pitched a scoreless inning last night. This much maligned Arizona bullpen threw 6 shutout innings last night. In the 2-1 12-inning win for Arizona. Gave up only 3 hits. Strike 1 on Corey Seager. Got any big off day plans in DC?
Sleep in.
Yep. Well, that's every day for you.
Really? Oh, excuse me.
Is it not? Am I lying?
Well, it depends on what you consider sleeping in. The crack of noon?
Yeah, that'd be sleeping in.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't get it. I get up about 9:30 usually.
Okay. It's all relative, though. I mean,
Right.
sleeping in for you would be noon then, I guess. 9 would be early for you.
Right. So, and then I'm thinking a really nice lunch.
Mm-hmm.
And then after that, I don't know. Nomar was saying that there's a really nice spy museum.
There is in downtown Washington, D.C.
Yeah. So Dana and I might hit that.
Here there's a Chipotle by the hotel.
I thought you were asking me because you were trying to figure out an invitation to what Dana and I were doing.
Seager shoots one inside of third. Corey around first on his way to second, hustling his way for a double.
Corey Seager with his second hit today and his second double. The other one back in the 5th. Let's take a look at our Morongo Casino Resort and Spa slow-mo cam. Scoots that one by Lamb down there at third. Doesn't reach the wall in the corner, but with his speed and ability to cut the bases, gets in there to second easily. The Morongo Casino Resort and Spa slow-mo cam.
And the 4th double of this series for Corey Seager. We've mentioned it both nights, but he right now leads the team in hits and homers and in runs. The last guy to finish a rookie season like that for the Dodgers was Jackie Robinson. That good of a note that it's worth mentioning all 3 days in this series, and bet we'll mention it a time or two in Washington. 1947, the year of the first Rookie of the Year award. Award now named after Jackie Robinson, first guy to win it. And he won the award for so much more than leading the team in homers and hits and runs. So much more than anything baseball related. Dodgers trying to cut into this 6-0 gap. Turner waits on a 2-0. Fouls it back. Padres have added a couple. 4-0 San Diego over San Francisco. Edwin Jackson just knocked in a run.
Have a day.
How about it? His first start in the majors in 2 years. He's been working out of the bullpen the last couple years. First game in a San Diego uniform.
He's got the no-hitter going. He's walked 4, struck out 3, now drove in a run. I guess you would call that effectively wild with those 4 walks.
Check in with Alana Rizzo.
Well, guys, you already talked about Edwin Jackson's no-hitter back in 2010. The San Diego Padres started play in 1969, the only team in the major leagues that still do not have a no-hitter in franchise history. Andrew Baggerly, who covers the San Francisco Giants for so long, said if Edwin Jackson throws a no-hitter, he will get a statue in his first outing.
That is awesome. 2-2 to Turner. He drives one in the air the other way. Back on it is Freeman at the wall, and that ball is gone. Justin Turner, some opposite field power, and the Dodgers on the board in the 8th. Number 15 for JT, one short of a career high.
6-2 now with 6 outs still to go for the Dodger offense to catch these Diamondbacks. Now only down 4 because of this swing right there. A beauty from the Red Dream. The leg kick, the hip turn, the bat speed, staying on it and backspinning it to right field for 2.
He started this series with a home run in his first at bat. Dodgers hope that's not his last at bat, but there's a chance that his first and last ABs of the series both leave the yard. Mike Butcher out to the mound to talk with Daniel Hudson.
Well, they're trying to get 4 more runs off of the 27th best earned run average bullpen in Major League. So this has been a leaky pen. Justin just punched another hole in it.
Dave Roberts, with the right-handed pitcher on the mound, is having Andrew Toles pinch hit for Scott Van Slyke. Toles in his first year in the majors. Toles in his first month in the majors. Former Rays farmhand. Waits on this 0-1 from Daniel Hudson. And muscles one into the diving glove of Lamb.
Little jam shot inside out, didn't get enough barrel on it to get it by him. Lamb makes a nice play, sprawling for that one. Had the one scoot by him by Corey Seager the other direction, but captures that one to his left.
Puig up there for the 4th time. In his first 3 trips up, he saw a total of 4 pitches. Was hit by a pitch in the 2nd, grounded out in the 3rd, and singled in the 6th. Still work to be done, but again, you mentioned that this Arizona bullpen has not been good this year, and their closer is now wearing a Boston Red Sox uniform. Hudson's 1-0, and Puig takes it for a strike. One and 2.
You're thinking along with Dave Roberts and thinking about how the Dodgers are going to play defense after this offensive inning. You saw Adrian Gonzalez behind A.J. Ellis right there with a bat in his hands. Since Scott Van Slyke has been hit for, there's your first baseman. But remember, Zach Walters can play almost every position on the field.
Puig the 2nd out of the 8th inning as Hudson gets him swinging.
Second baseman, Chris Taylor.
There's Gonzalez.
Adrian was getting ready in case there was an opportunity for him to be the tying run to hit a grand slam, but now that doesn't look like it's going to happen in the correct order for the Dodgers, he sits back down.
Another good day for Chris Taylor, walking a single. His 2nd start in this series. 4 for 7 this weekend. The 1-0 pitch. Line to right. On comes Freeman. Plays it on a bounce. Another hit for Chris Taylor. Been fun to watch him since the Dodgers acquired him from Seattle and then called him up a few days later.
If you think about the track record of our current front office, they've had a pretty good job finding players that people have given up on. Think about Justin Turner's 15th home run. The Mets giving up on him, saying it's one of the biggest mistakes they've ever made as an organization. Chris Taylor been given up on a few times. Zach Walters, that acquisition. Tolles been out of baseball for a year at time. They're pretty good at recognizing guys that have talent that haven't quite blossomed yet, where other organizations have given up on people.
You go into the bullpen like we talked about last night. Lewis Coleman spent an entire year in AAA last year and then was let go by the Royals. Casey Feen cast off by Minnesota. And Coleman, by the way, warming. Hudson to Ellis with an 0-1 pitch. Ellis strikes out for the 4th time today. Dodgers get on the board with a Justin Turner homer. On to the bottom of the 8th, 6-2.
The #1 live streaming sports service delivers everything you have to come to expect and more. Watch every out-of-market game live in HD on over 400 supported devices. Includes a free subscription to At Bat Premium, the #1 app for live baseball. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Visit MLB.tv for details.
Got a bunch of changes for you. Get your pencil out. Tolles hit, stays in the game and plays center. That moves Yasiel Puig from center to right. They flip Walters from right to left. He replaces Kendrick, who comes in and plays first, with Scott Van Slyke out of the game, having been pinch hit for. And Lewis Coleman takes the ball on the mound. Strike one on Brandon Drury. On Mike Freeman, beg your pardon. He had a really nice inning last night, did Coleman, going right through the top of this Arizona lineup. And he starts this outing with 2 strikes.
You've told us many a times about the different arm angles that Lewis Coleman has used over the course of his career, college, high school, and then professionally. And normally a guy from this arm angle, when you're sidewinding, is sinker slider. But Lewis is not afraid to go up the ladder like that last one. He knows his slider is down and the 2-seamer is down by the knees, but he loves to change eye angle of the hitter before he continues to go down there where the out pitch is. You see the sequencing right there. Slider for a strike and then go up and then come back down. So it's not just down with movement and changing speeds. He'll change the elevation.
He gets him swinging. So Lewis Coleman picks up right where he left off last night. And Mike Freeman's first major league game is an 0 for 3 with 3 strikeouts. Gosawish comes up 0 for 3 today. Line to second and caught by Taylor. Timed the jump perfectly for the second out.
Good timing and great positioning right here to have a shot at this one. Doesn't jump as soon as he sees it hit, reads it, coils, and springs into action. Very nicely done.
The series of his life this weekend. That game of his life Friday. A nice day today as well. Ahmed, the 8-hitter, looks at strike 1 for the Dodgers in the top of the 9th, needing a big number. 8, 9, and 1. That's Walters, then the pitcher's spot, and then back to the top and Howie Kendrick. This is the kind of ballpark to pull off something crazy like that. Saw the Dodgers in Denver against the Rockies earlier this year have a huge 9th inning to overcome a deficit. Trying to do the same in this series finale and make that a happy flight to DC tonight. 1-2 on Ahmed.
And we talked about this ballpark and how under the radar it is for offense, like playing in Coors Field. So the equation at least helps the Dodgers with a possible comeback, going against the 27th worst bullpen in baseball, and you're in an offensive ballpark.
Into center, there's Tolles, and we go to the 9th. Another 1-2-3 inning work by Lewis Coleman here in Arizona. Let's see if the Dodgers can find some magic to win this series. LA is brought to you by BMW. See a Southern California BMW Center today for exceptional offers, or visit SoCalBMW.com. Tyler Clippard comes on to try and finish off the Dodgers and give the Diamondbacks a come-from-behind series win. It's his 38th appearance. Former Washington National in his first season here in Arizona.
Couple innings pitched in this series, all zeros. Has held opponents scoreless in 11 of his last 12 outings. Only one earned run in that time. 11 2/3 innings. .77 ERA. So if the Dodgers are going to come back 4 down, there's a hill to climb, and Chase Utley's going to try and start it off.
Yeah, Dave Roberts will unload his veterans off of the bench here, who are out of the starting lineup today, to try and spark this rally. It's Utley, and then it'll be Gonzalez, and then back to the top. You'll see the overshift on, back-to-back left-handed hitters here. And Clippard begins the 9th inning with ball 1.
The interesting thing about Clippard, since 2009, left-handers have only hit 181 off of him. That's the second best mark in the majors, trailing only Craig Kimbrell and slightly ahead of Clayton Kershaw.
Two and 0.
He has not had that quick pitch delivery that he alternates into since 2009, that's for sure. That's a new addition this year.
Utley waits on this 2-0 offering and takes ball 3. Dodgers getting their 2 runs on a Justin Turner homer in the 8th. Diamondbacks got 3 in the first against Maeda, and then single runs in the 3rd and the 5th and the 7th. A 4-pitch walk to start the inning. And when you're having the kind of season the Diamondbacks are, having lost 13 of 16, 16 and 33 at home, it doesn't take a whole lot to have bad demons start to creep into your mind in a situation like this.
Yeah, here we go again. Thoughts? Even Clippard on the 2-0 pitch kind of was begging, and that kind of shows a little lack of confidence.
So Gonzalez comes up. You've got the Giants-Padres game on the MLB app going up here in the booth.
Edwin Jackson just bounced off the mound and made an error.
Thankfully, far from a perfect game, right? And these days, walked several.
He's walked 4, struck out 3.
But the no-hitter is still intact in the 7th against San Francisco. Guy that debuted with the Dodgers actually against the Diamondbacks on his 20th birthday more than a decade ago. Reach the seats, and Gonzalez behind 0-2.
Well, the best news out of San Diego, other than the following the possible no-hitter, is that Giants are down 4-0.
Which is nice, but like you said, right now it feels like a massive missed opportunity.
It would feel even worse if this was like September. But with this much baseball to go, you know, you take care of business, you got a really good chance of catching them. But you're missing a huge opportunity coming here and playing the Diamondbacks, who are really struggling.
And going into the next 2 legs of this trip against top-notch opponents, Washington Nationals, who are now in the 17th inning, by the way, against Pittsburgh. Keep on going. We won't be there for a while, so you can go ahead and play until Tuesday if you want.
That's right.
And then the St. Louis Cardinals at Busch Stadium next weekend. Another 0-2 to Adrian Gonzalez. Got him. So Clippard uses a strikeout for the first out of the inning. Then Howie Kendrick with another opportunity to get his first hit today. 7 of 13 in this series, even with today's 0 for 3. Got in the hands on him. Rattled that bottom hand. Average all the way up to 268 after he hovered around 200 for so long early on in the season. He's dug himself out of that hole. One of the many veterans that's heated up midseason. Clippard brings an 0-1 pitch. And it drifts inside, even the count at 1-1. So the off day tomorrow, then Scott Kazmir takes it on Tuesday. TBD for Washington. Wednesday's game, Hyun-Jin Ryu against Gio Gonzalez, who is 5-8 with an ERA around 5 for Washington. The only piece of that rotation having issues. Be a fun time to do a series between those two teams at this stage of the year with a trade deadline approaching, because those are two teams that you hear in just about every trade rumor associated in some form or fashion.
Only 6 teams in Major League Baseball with more wins than the Dodgers, and they're all at the top of their divisions. By all recent accounts, Dodgers one of the hottest teams in the National League, other than this series right here.
19 wins since mid-May or mid-June. On to the 18th there. Stay hot, DC.
They played a doubleheader today. That's good.
Yeah.
And Scherzer out of the way.
Nice take by Kendrick. Count goes full. Dodgers 19-9 since mid-June. That's tied for the most wins in the majors in that stretch, with the left for dead Houston Astros. They were way out of it in the American League West, but have stormed back. Ollie at first, 1 gone in the 9th, and a 3-2 to Howie Kendrick. That Nationals Pirates game in the 18th tied at 1. Washington has a total of 6 hits over those 18 innings, but one of them was a pinch hit home run from Daniel Murphy, making a case for MVP this year. Another payoff. Kendrick fouls it again. He's seen 35 pitches today in 4+ at-bats. Seager and Turner to follow. Kendrick trying to keep the line moving. Another 3-2 from Tyler Clippard. Fouls another. Bad news in San Diego. Connor Gillespie has hit a 3-run homer to break up Edwin Jackson's no-hitter and to bring the Giants within 1 run.
Edwin Jackson set the table with an error by himself, a walk, fell behind 3-0, threw a 3-0 strike, and then gave up the homer.
Bounce softly to third. Lamb's throw, not in time. Kendrick beats it out. Dodgers not dead yet. Seager comes up with 2 on and 1 gone.
Right at contact and angle, the hitters realize they smell a base hit. How he chopped it with top spin. I don't know if that call's stand or not, but he's smelling it right there. He got a chance. That angle, you don't see it because of Paul Goldschmidt reaching high above the camera angle to grab it. It was very close.
And it looks like play on.
All right.
So
hit.
If Seager can reach, Justin Turner would represent the tying run.
And he has his 15th home run of the year in this game.
I'm a little surprised there's no challenge. That ball's popping the back of the mitt before his foot hits.
I hope they don't have our angle.
Stop showing that, Mike Levy.
Yeah, hold that.
A good hustle from Kendrick to get the infield single and his 8th hit in the 3 games in this series. So now it's Seager, who has 2 more doubles today. And that ball's roped towards the right field corner. Here comes Utley. Seager on his way to second, his 3rd double. It's a 6-3 game, and the tying run comes to the plate in the form of Turner.
Diamondbacks might regret not looking at the play at first a little longer. This changeup right here, Corey stays on, pulls it down the line because of the good swing and the off-speed pitch, but able to flatten the bat out, get under there and hit a line drive.
Dodgers just keep on fighting. Utley walked to start the inning. Gonzalez struck out. Kendrick with an infield single. Seager with a ringing double. Jake Barrett starting to warm as Justin Turner comes up. 1 swing from tying the game, and it's going to be against Jake Barrett. Chip Hale making a change. Bad thoughts creeping into those Diamondback minds. Here comes Barrett. Here comes drama in the series finale in Phoenix. This is Tyler Clippard. Barrett has had 6 consecutive scoreless appearances, including in last night's game. He's on to face Justin Turner, who represents the tying run for the Dodgers. He started the scoring for Los Angeles just last inning with a 2-run opposite field homer.
Backspin right field shot. Tell you what, the Dodgers have built this inning and brought the tying run to the plate. That's quite an accomplishment, and to do it with this guy at the plate makes it even more exciting.
And you figured they'll be careful with Turner. Andrew Toles is on deck in the cleanup spot. He pinch hit for Scott Van Slyke last inning. 1 swing could tie it. Barrett is ready. Turner's ready. Ball 1.
Tyler Clippard, 11 out of 12 scoreless outings going into today. Now he's given up a run in this one, and 2nd and 3rd are his responsibility. Frustration all over his face.
Second and third one gone. Barrett's 1-0. Ball 2 on Justin Turner.
And you've struggled like this Diamondback bullpen, and then this inning gets built from a big lead to all of a sudden the game in the balance. You start to tighten up on the mound. You feel how big it is, the weight of your team on your shoulders.
It's 3-0.
High school, college, and even sometimes in the big leagues, right about now, you'll be hearing some calls from the opposing bench. Squeeze it.
You can sense it, huh? You sense that body language.
Well, the phrase came from pitchers when you're under pressure have a tendency to grab onto the ball too much, and that's why they pull it into the ground like that. You don't really loosen up your grip with tension. You're actually trying to loosen your body up and relax, like that little bounce right there. You get some feel in your body because the adrenaline and how much you want it makes you squeeze it.
No doubt Turner will have a green light here. Line drive, base hit, left center. Kendrick and Seager both score, and this is a one-run game in the ninth.
Justin Turner, a home run today, and now this base hit, and it might prove as big as the home run to set the table and get 2 in and get the tying run to first base. And if you're thinking about stealing after you put that pressure on right there, he might forget about you at first base. You might be able to swipe a bag here.
Baton pass to Andrew Toles in only his 5th major league game. Ball 1. After Toles, it'll be Puig.
Remember, Chip Hale and the Diamondbacks have traded away their closer, Brad Ziegler. He's now in Boston. The duties of closing were passed to Hudson and to Clippard. So they're looking for someone that understands this 9th inning and get the job done. These are not guys used to this pressure.
And not everybody is built for these situations. Right now trying to find out if Jake Barrett is.
The difference between pitching in the 7th and 8th or even the 6th earlier is the game is totally defined in the 9th. The offense knows exactly what it needs to do to tie or win, and the defense knows exactly what it has to do to win. And that definition alone puts more pressure on you. All their other innings, there's more time to recover from mistakes, so mistakes don't seem as large.
3 runs already in the bank. Tying run at first. 1 out, 9th inning. And a 1-0 to Andrew Toles. Big bouncer up the middle and into center. Turner's headed for 3rd. At the corners with 1 away.
Outstanding read by Justin Turner. Big hit from Toles right there to find the middle of the diamond. But Justin Turner, realizing it's a high chopper, it's not going to get to the center fielder in time, has to get to 3rd base with less than 2 outs and does it. Gets a great break as the ball leaves the bat, and right there decides he's not close to it. I can get there. Strides his way into 3rd with the tying run. Nice job, Red Dream.
And so the tying run 90 feet away. Minutes after the Dodgers entered the inning down 6-2. They trailed 6-0 before Turner's 2-run homer in the 8th. 6-5, and here's Puig.
Yasiel had an opportunity with bases loaded and 2 out yesterday. A 3-1 count on him coming back from a 3-0 count. A lot of people thought he should have been taken 3-1 because he would have got the same pitch 3-2. It was a fastball only, grounded to second. He's got a chance to redeem himself.
Pops it foul. Middle infield plays halfway, double play depth. Trying to end this game on a ground ball.
Sometimes in these situations, I'd like to whisper into Yasiel's ear, less is more. He seems to try so hard.
Nothing in 2 on a fastball that missed its spot.
It just seems like the swing is too big sometimes in these situations, that he's trying to hit a 5-run homer and he just needs a fly ball to the outfield.
Barrett desperate for a strikeout. He's got Puig going 2. With Chris Taylor due next. Here it comes. Nice stop. Tuffy Gosewish has made stop after stop this afternoon. 1-2.
We saw those pitches to Justin Turner. You really want it bad as a pitcher, and talk about squeezing it. He squeezed that breaking ball, pulled it outside, making sure that he didn't make an 0-2 mistake.
And that huge comeback in the 9th inning in Colorado earlier this year, they tied the game on a wild pitch. Tying run at 3rd in the 9th, and a 1-2 to Puig. Barrett taking forever.
He's trying to freeze him. He can see how anxious Yasiel is. He knows the situation. Calm himself down and maybe freeze Yasiel at the plate.
They can hardly watch. Now the 1-2. Puig gets a fly ball down the right field line. Freeman moves over into foul ground, and it's out of play. And he would have been in an interesting spot there. Do you make the catch or do you let it fall?
If I'm on the mound, I want him to let it fall. Because I'm ahead of the hitter. I feel like I can get him out. I got a chance to get the strikeout. Yasiel had a very nice approach on that, because he was late on the fastball because he's guarding against that breaking ball, and that ball was away and could have been the breaking ball, but he protected and fouled it off the fastball.
Another 1-2. Got him.
Watch the replay and see if his head stays on this pitch or does it relieve. No, he does a good job seeing the ball the whole way. He just missed it. This ball's got some depth. He was in there and balanced. Tip your hat to Barrett.
So Barrett strikes out Puig, and it's up to Chris Taylor. Knocked in 6 on Friday. Has 2 hits today with a walk. And has the tying run 90 feet away with 2 gone in the 9th. Strike 1.
Have a series, Chris Taylor. This will top it off. Had the game of your life, and now you can really have the series of your life. Justin Turner down to 3rd's got to be heads up for that breaking ball in the dirt. We've seen plenty of them in this inning since Barrett has entered.
Broke one off, and it's 0-2.
Very hittable pitch. It just gets him out in front. He throws breaking ball. Watch out.
Got him. Dodgers had him at the corners, had the tying run 90 feet away with one out. And Barrett strikes out Puig and strikes out Taylor. Time for our Lexus Player of the Game. Jake Lamb, another monster performance for Arizona. One night after he was the guy that sent the game into extras and scored the winning run. Homered against Maeda, had a single as well, and helps the Diamondbacks win this series 2-1. That does it from Phoenix. For Oral and Alana and the rest of our crew, Joe Davis sending it to Access Sportsnet. Dodgers brought to you by your Southern California Nissan dealers. And back here for reactions in just a bit.